Listen, most people waste their lives chasing after the wrong things. They chase approval. They chase validation. They chase other people's attention. And what does it get them? Nothing but disappointment. Because the truth is, when you focus on everyone else, you lose yourself. The most powerful thing you can ever do is to stop caring about what people think, stop trying to control situations, and turn all of that energy inward. Focus only on yourself. Focus on your growth. Focus on your peace. Silence is strength. Think about it, the people who talk the most, who complain the loudest, who constantly need to be seen are usually the weakest. They need noise to hide their insecurities. But the person who can stay quiet, the person who doesn't need to explain, doesn't need to prove anything, that's the one who truly holds power. When you stay silent, you protect your energy. You don't get dragged into arguments that don't matter. You don't waste breath on people who'll never understand you. You don't give others the satisfaction of controlling your emotions. You simply let your actions speak. And here's the reality: the more you focus on yourself, the more magnetic you become. People notice the discipline. They notice the calmness. They notice the way you move differently. And suddenly, you don't need to chase anyone. The right people are drawn to you. So remember this: stop fighting battles that aren't yours. Stop over-explaining. Stop begging for respect. Just build yourself. Improve yourself. Protect your silence. Because when you learn to focus only on yourself and stay silent, you become untouchable. Most people live their lives in chains, and they don't even realize that they hold the key themselves. They wake up every day thinking about what someone else thinks of them. Do they like me? Do they respect me? Do they approve of me? That becomes the prison they build with their own hands. The problem is, the more you chase after people's approval, the more you push it away. People can feel when you're needy, when you're desperate, when you're begging to be seen. And that energy, it makes them lose respect for you instantly. Approval is like a shadow. You'll never catch it by chasing it. It comes when you stand still, strong, and rooted in who you are. The truth is, nobody owes you their validation. Nobody is walking around thinking about how to make you feel good about yourself. Everyone's caught up in their own life, their own struggles, their own insecurities. And here's the harsh reality: people's opinions of you are not really about you at all. They're about them. They judge you through the lens of their own fears, their own failures, their own limitations. If you let their opinions define you, you are letting blind people lead you through life. That's why chasing approval is a game you can never win, because the rules keep changing, and the people you're trying to please don't even know who they are. Think about it. When you were younger, maybe you tried to fit in. You dressed a certain way, acted a certain way, spoke a certain way just so you could belong. But what happened? You felt empty. You felt like a fake. That's what happens every time you chase approval. You trade authenticity for acceptance. And here's the problem with that: the acceptance you receive isn't real. People are only accepting the mask you put on, not the real you. And that's why it feels so fragile, because deep down, you know it's not you they respect, it's the performance. And the moment you stop performing, that approval vanishes. When you stop chasing approval, something shifts inside of you. You no longer walk into rooms wondering, do they like me? Instead, you walk in asking, do I even like them? You stop being the one auditioning for people's lives, and you start realizing they should be auditioning for yours. Your mindset changes from being a beggar of attention to being the chooser of who deserves access to you. That's the kind of energy that makes people sit up, pay attention, and respect you without you even asking. Because respect given freely isn't real. Respect that comes from your presence, your energy, your self-assurance, that's real. The people who chase approval the hardest are the ones who never get it. They're the ones who bend over backwards, who say yes to everything, who try to be everything for everyone. And what do they get in return? They get taken for granted. They get walked over. They get left behind. Why? Because people can't respect someone who doesn't respect themselves enough to set boundaries. But the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop needing, that's when the balance of power shifts. People start coming to you. People start wondering about you. People start chasing you. It's a paradox. You get approval only when you no longer need it. So stop asking, stop begging, stop running after people's validation like it's oxygen. The only approval you need is from yourself. Because when you truly approve of yourself, when you live by your own standards, when you know you're enough, nobody can take that away from you. People can criticize you, misunderstand you, even reject you, but it won't touch you. Their voices become background noise. You stop being a puppet pulled by the strings of other people's opinions. You stand on your own feet. You build your own foundation. And from there, you move through life with unshakable confidence. Approval stops being something you need and becomes something you naturally attract. Most people waste their lives pouring all their energy outward. They obsess over what other people are doing, what they're saying, what they're thinking. They spend hours scrolling through social media, comparing themselves to strangers, gossiping about people who don't even know they exist, and trying to control things that are completely outside of their reach. And then they wonder why they feel drained, why they feel stuck, why nothing in their life is changing. The truth is simple. When you pour all your energy outward, you've got nothing left for yourself. You are feeding everyone else while starving yourself. That is why your growth stalls, why your dreams feel so far away, why you never feel fulfilled. You need to understand something. Your energy is your currency. It is your power. Wherever you invest it, that area of your life grows. If you pour it into other people's drama, your life becomes chaos. If you pour it into negativity, your life becomes darker. But if you pour it into yourself, your mind, your body, your goals, then everything starts to shift. You start to see progress. You start to feel alive. You start to realize that your energy was never supposed to be wasted on chasing people or worrying about things you cannot control. It was always meant to be used to build yourself. Turning your energy inward means asking yourself the hard questions. What do I really want? Who do I want to be? Where do I want to go? And then it means taking the time and discipline to invest in those answers. Instead of worrying about whether someone else likes you, you worry about whether you like yourself. Instead of comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel, you focus on building a life that excites you when you wake up in the morning. You redirect all the hours you spend watching others into hours of improving yourself. Because here's the truth: energy directed inward compounds. 1 hour of working on yourself creates 10 times the results compared to 10 hours wasted worrying about others. When you start turning your energy inward, you begin to discover your real power. Suddenly, you notice that your mind is sharper because you're feeding it knowledge instead of gossip. Your body is stronger because you're putting effort into your health instead of wasting it on stress. Your goals are clearer because you're no longer distracted by trying to live up to someone else's standards. You create momentum, and that momentum builds confidence. And once you have confidence, everything else in life feels easier. Confidence comes from energy well invested, energy spent mastering yourself. The problem with giving your energy to others is that it leaves you empty. It makes you dependent on how they respond. If they like you, you feel high. If they ignore you, you feel low. Your emotions become a roller coaster controlled by someone else's behavior. That's weakness. But when you pull that energy back, when you stop needing anyone else to fuel your worth, you gain stability. You gain peace. You gain the ability to stand on your own 2 feet without needing anyone to hold you up. That's where real strength comes from. Not from chasing, not from pleasing, but from centering yourself. So stop scattering your energy everywhere like it's worthless. Stop feeding people who only drain you. Stop pouring into things that do nothing for your growth. Instead, start guarding your energy like treasure. Start investing it where it matters. Build your skills. Sharpen your mind. Strengthen your body. Deepen your peace. Because when you turn all of that energy inward, when you stop wasting it outward on things you can't control, you finally realize you were the power source all along. Everything you've been chasing out there was already inside of you. Silence has always been misunderstood. People think silence means weakness. They think if you don't speak, if you don't argue, if you don't fight to prove yourself, then you must not have anything valuable to say. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The loudest person in the room is almost never the strongest. The person who constantly feels the need to explain themselves, to defend themselves, to justify every action, that's the person who is insecure. True power does not need to announce itself. True confidence does not need to scream. Silence is the weapon of those who have nothing left to prove. When you remain silent, you maintain control. Words once spoken can't be taken back. They can be twisted, used against you, or misunderstood. But silence cannot be misquoted. Silence cannot be manipulated. Silence forces people to wonder what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you truly know. And that mystery, that uncertainty, creates respect. The less you speak, the more people listen when you finally do open your mouth. Silence gives weight to your words. It makes them count. And when your words count, you don't need many of them to make an impact. Silence also protects your energy. Arguments, debates, endless back and forth with people who will never understand you. It's all wasted breath. You don't need to convince anyone of who you are. You don't need to force people to see your value. Let them think what they want. Let them assume, let them misunderstand, let them underestimate you. Because while they waste their time talking, you're quietly moving forward. You're working, you're growing, you're building. That's why silence is powerful. It keeps you focused on your path instead of dragging you into battles that don't matter. The person who can stay silent in the face of provocation is the one who truly controls the situation. Think about it. When someone tries to insult you, what are they really looking for? A reaction. They want to see you angry, hurt, defensive. They want to pull you into their level. But when you don't give them that reaction, when you simply stay calm and silent, you take away all of their power. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know how you feel. And that silence frustrates them more than any comeback ever could. Silence isn't weakness, it's dominance. Silence also gives you clarity. When you're always talking, always reacting, always filling space with words, you never hear yourself think. You never give your mind the space it needs to process, to reflect, to sharpen. But in silence, you learn about yourself. You hear your inner voice more clearly. You see situations for what they really are, instead of what people are trying to convince you they are. Silence allows you to detach from the noise of the world and reconnect with your own wisdom. And when you're connected with yourself, you stop getting lost in the chaos around you. The truth is, silence is a superpower. It makes you unpredictable. It makes you untouchable. It keeps you from wasting energy on things that don't matter. It forces people to respect you because they can't read you, they can't manipulate you, and they can't break through the wall of calm you've built. While everyone else is chasing attention, chasing arguments, chasing noise, you stand still, grounded, unshakable. That's why silence is strength. It's not about what you say, it's about what you don't say. And when you master silence, you master yourself. Energy is the most valuable resource you will ever have, more valuable than money, more valuable than time. Because without energy, you can't use your time effectively, and you can't create opportunities that lead to money. Everything in your life, your health, your focus, your relationships, your success, flows from how you manage your energy. Yet, most people treat their energy carelessly. They give it away to people who drain them. They waste it on things that don't matter. They allow their emotions to be hijacked by negativity, drama, and distractions. And then they wonder why they feel exhausted, unmotivated, and stuck. Protecting your energy is not optional. It's essential. Every interaction you have either fuels you or drains you. Some people bring you peace, inspire you, challenge you to be better. Those people deserve your energy. But others, they leave you empty. They gossip, they complain, they criticize, they demand. They feed on your attention like parasites. And if you're not careful, they'll drain you dry. Protecting your energy means learning to recognize who adds to your life and who subtracts from it. It means setting boundaries even if it makes people uncomfortable. Because the truth is, if you don't protect your energy, nobody else will. People will take and take until you've got nothing left. Protecting your energy also means refusing to waste it on arguments and negativity. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every battle is worth fighting. Some people argue not because they want the truth, but because they want control. If you fall into their trap, you're giving them exactly what they want: your attention, your emotional reaction, your power. Silence is often the best defense. Walk away. Save your energy for things that actually matter. Because every time you let someone pull you into their drama, you're taking energy away from your own goals, your own growth, your own future. Another way to protect your energy is to be intentional about what you consume. The books you read, the shows you watch, the people you follow online, all of it shapes your mind and either lifts you higher or drags you lower. If you fill your head with negativity, comparison, and noise, you're draining yourself before you even start your day. But if you choose wisely, if you fill yourself with knowledge, positivity, and inspiration, you recharge. You strengthen your focus, you fuel your motivation. Protecting your energy isn't just about avoiding bad people. It's about curating what you allow into your mind and soul. Protecting your energy also means protecting your body, because if your body is drained, your mind will follow. Sleep, exercise, nutrition. These aren't luxuries, they're necessities. When you neglect your body, you're leaking energy in ways you don't even notice. You're tired, sluggish, unfocused. But when you care for yourself, when you fuel your body the right way, you create a reservoir of energy that powers everything else you do. Protecting your energy is holistic. It's not just emotional, it's physical, mental, and spiritual. Every choice you make is either charging your battery or draining it. And here's the thing, when you start protecting your energy, you'll lose some people. Because the ones who are draining you will resist. They'll call you selfish. They'll say you've changed. And you have. You've changed because you finally realized that your energy is too valuable to waste. The people who truly belong in your life will respect your boundaries. They'll value your presence more when they see you value yourself. Protecting your energy is not about shutting people out. It's about making sure the right people, the right habits, and the right priorities have access to you. That's when your life begins to transform. Words are cheap. Anybody can say they're disciplined. Anybody can promise they'll change. Anybody can talk about what they're going to do. But words without action mean nothing. The world doesn't respect talkers, it respects doors. When you let your actions speak, you separate yourself from the majority. Because most people never follow through. They make excuses, they delay. They get stuck in endless conversations about their dreams, but never actually take steps toward them. But you, when you decide to let your actions speak, you stop explaining yourself and start proving yourself. And that changes everything. Actions carry a weight that words never can. When you walk into a room, people don't remember what you said years ago. They remember how you've been living. They notice the discipline in your body, the calm in your presence, the confidence in your movement. They see the results you've created, the life you've built, the consistency you've maintained. That's why letting your actions speak is so powerful, because results cannot be argued with. You don't have to convince anyone of your value when your life already demonstrates it. Success leaves a trail, and that trail speaks louder than anything you could ever say. Another reason actions matter more than words is that words can be faked, but actions can't. People can talk about loyalty, but only actions reveal if they're truly loyal. People can say they love you, but their actions will show you if it's real. People can promise to change, but only consistent action proves it. That's why you need to stop listening so much to what people say and start watching what they do. And you must hold yourself to the same standard. Don't tell the world who you are, show them. Don't declare your intentions, demonstrate them. Let your daily discipline be the proof. When you live this way, when your actions do the talking, something shifts in how people treat you. They respect you more because they can't deny what you've built. They trust you more because you've shown consistency. And they value you more because you're rare. Most people burn out after a week. Most people quit after the first setback. But if you keep moving forward quietly without needing to announce every step, your actions start to build a reputation that speaks louder than any words could. That reputation follows you everywhere you go. It becomes your identity. And here's the beauty of it. When your actions speak, you don't need to explain yourself anymore. You don't need to defend yourself against criticism. You don't need to convince anyone to believe in you. People will doubt you at first. That's natural. They'll laugh, they'll criticize, they'll dismiss you. But if you stay consistent, if you keep stacking actions day after day, eventually those same people will have no choice but to respect you. Your results will silence every doubt, every insult, every question. The most powerful response you can ever give to negativity is success. And success only comes through action. So stop wasting breath on explanations. Stop trying to convince people with words. Stop arguing with those who don't believe in you. Let your work do the talking. Let your growth show. Let your discipline shine through. Every rep in the gym, every late night working, every decision to stay focused instead of distracted. Those are the things that speak for you. Because at the end of the day, people may doubt your words, but they can never deny your results. And when your actions speak loud enough, you won't need to say a thing. Becoming untouchable doesn't mean you never face problems. It doesn't mean life suddenly becomes easy. What it means is you reach a place inside yourself where nothing outside of you can shake you. People will still talk. They'll still judge. They'll still try to pull you down. But when you're untouchable, none of it sticks. You've built such a strong foundation within yourself that the noise around you can't penetrate it. That's true power, not controlling the world, but controlling yourself so deeply that the world has no control over you. To become untouchable, you must master detachment. You stop basing your worth on how people treat you. You stop craving recognition. You stop chasing after relationships, approval, and validation. Instead, you give yourself what you used to beg for from others. You approve of yourself, you respect yourself, you trust yourself. That's when you become free. Because the moment you stop needing people, they lose all power over you. They can reject you, ignore you, criticize you, and it doesn't move you. Why? Because you've already given yourself everything you need. When you become untouchable, your emotions stop being a weapon against you. Most people are controlled by how they feel. One insult ruins their whole day. One setback kills their motivation. One disappointment makes them quit. But not you, not when you've built inner strength. You feel the emotion, you acknowledge it, but you don't let it control your behavior. You don't let it knock you off course. And that consistency, that ability to keep moving no matter what, makes you unstoppable. The world can throw storms at you, but you remain calm. You bend, but you don't break. Another part of being untouchable is discipline, because let's be real, discipline is the armor that protects you from chaos. When you're disciplined, you're not swayed by temporary feelings or distractions. You don't need motivation because you've trained yourself to act regardless of how you feel. Discipline makes you steady. It makes you predictable to yourself, but unpredictable to others. They don't know how you keep showing up day after day, how you keep pushing when they've already quit. They don't realize your secret is simple. You don't negotiate with yourself. You do what needs to be done, period. That's why discipline makes you untouchable. People will test you when you begin to rise. They'll question your choices. They'll laugh at your goals. They'll try to push your buttons, waiting for you to break. But when you stay calm, when you don't bite, when you simply keep building quietly, you take away all their power. Your silence, your discipline, your consistency, it frustrates them because they can't shake you. The more they try to break you, the stronger you look. And eventually, they realize they can't touch you. You've risen to a level where their opinions, their drama, their negativity simply don't reach anymore. Becoming untouchable means you stop living at the mercy of the outside world. You become the anchor instead of the ship tossed by waves. You dictate your pace. You decide your direction. You choose who gets access to your energy and who doesn't. And once you're in that place, you can't be manipulated. You can't be controlled. You can't be broken. You walk through life with a quiet strength, a calm confidence, a power that speaks without saying a word. That's what it means to become untouchable. Not that life gets easier, but that you become unshakable. No matter what life throws at you,